Good evening, everyone, and I trust you're having a great time in Queenstown. Thank you so much for this award. It's a real honour to be recognised in this way. Getting an award like this can be a time for reflection. And I realised that it was 22 years ago when I was awarded the Young Professional Valuer of the Year award in 1995. It's really scary when you think about how quick that last 22 years has gone and how many changes and innovations we've seen in that time. Just step back for a moment, those 22 years, and remember that these were the days when Yahoo was the main search engine of the day because Google hadn't yet been launched. Remember how we used to get access into the internet by plugging your modem in through a phone line in the wall. And you couldn't be on the internet and speaking on your phone at the same time. And who can forget that must-have fashion accessory of the time? Remember those big brick telephones? Those were the days of mobile phones when bigger was definitely better. And I wonder how many of you remember too at that time about how we used to find properties to buy or rent. In all those really large specialist property magazines that we'd have to go through day after day. So it was against all of this background back in 1995 when I first introduced the concept at the time, which was really radical and leading edge, of a New Zealand-wide website complete with all the properties advertised for sale and for rent in one place that come complete with photos, easily searchable and accessible by anyone, anywhere, at any time. A real no-brainer, right? But it's interesting to reflect that at the time, most people in the real estate industry thought this idea was completely crazy and didn't support it. And in fact, I had some wise heads that told me, Leonie, nobody will ever buy property this way. So I'm not sure whether it was just a bit of grit and craziness as well as some key advocates. But not long after that, we were able to launch one of the first major commercial websites in New Zealand. I was responsible for the launch of realends.co.nz, which is today known as realestate.co.nz. Now, when you look back 22 years ago and you think about things like this, it actually gives you perspective about where things are at today and possibly where they can go into the future. And it reminds me what you can achieve if you just stick at things. And realestate.co is a classic example where it's something that seems so obvious today. You couldn't imagine looking for property in any other way. And I've spent my whole career immersed in innovation and change and disruption. And that's been my own business ventures, as well as the more philanthropic venture I launched last October, which was around solving Auckland's housing crisis. Now, the thing about that, with my solution for Auckland's housing crisis, is the issues are exactly the same. The journey's the same. I've got my advocates and endorsers, and then there's plenty of people who just don't get it, who think it's crazy and don't want to change. But here's the thing. I'm absolutely convinced that if we put this in place, when we look in 22 years' time in the future and look back, it will seem just like another really obvious thing to do. Never has there been a time in our property industry when the industry has had such a high profile. And never has it been more important for us all to show leadership, to solve some of our country's really critical issues. I think we're all blessed to have an opportunity to make such a real difference and impact in people's lives. And at the same time, for me, I've loved my property journey, whether it was as a valuer, as a lecturer, all the technology stuff I've done when I've had my own businesses, through to development and to governance. It's been a great journey to spend my time in this industry. Now, I'm very aware that I'm holding you up from your evening's entertainment. So again, I just really want to reiterate and say thank you so much for this award. I'm really honoured and truly humbled. Thanks again and have a great night.